You're going to want to watch this in case you're interested in hearing what's credible, or in this potentially case, what's not credible about all these offers that people are giving from these experts that have popped up to do all these things online because so many people have been caught inside because of COVID. I end up with 3 different questions that are so similar, I'm just going to combine them into one. Mitchell, what do you think about this LinkedIn program for marketing? Mitchell, what do you think about this 5-day challenge program? Have you heard about this person? Do you think it's a good place for me to learn how to deliver good, effective 5-day challenges? And the last one is, I've had 3 people say, what do you think about this masterclass or that masterclass or this masterclass? All right. So first, I want to say something that is a little bit depressing from my perspective. This is one of those things that COVID allowed to have happen. That is, before COVID, when I was interacting, and I typically do 10 to 20 Zoom calls a day, when I'm interacting with people prior to COVID, something like 20%, now, by the way, this is empirical evidence, not statistically significant, but generally speaking, 20% of the people I interacted with at some time in their life was taken advantage of by a program which made a whole lot of promises and didn't deliver on those promises. Post-COVID, what I'm actually seeing now, that number is much closer to 80%. Because people are home, because people recognize the life they were living is not the life they want to lead, they were more susceptible to people who were going out there saying, I have the answer. I have the answer for you to stay home, make money on the beach, and all you have to do is invest X. And people have gotten a lot better at telling you the types of things they need, that you need to do, and if you follow these steps, that things would happen. Now, let me say that for many of the people, it doesn't, even if they're selling a program that doesn't work, it doesn't mean they're bad people. It means they're propagating something that worked at a certain period of time for a certain class of individuals. They did not do enough research to determine if it's statistically significant across all groups of people and whether or not it's going to work in today's world versus when it did work, which might have been last year, last month, or a decade ago. So, in general, life is changing. Life will never be the same. One of the last episodes we talked about is when are we going to get back to normal? COVID's over. When is it back to normal? The answer is never. There is never a now new normal. There may have been an old normal, and that is going to continue to morph. And the rate of change in which things are going to morph is spectacular. So when you hear people talk about, hey, just do this program, you'll be able to escalate it, you'll make tons of money, you'll sit on the beach. They may or may not say that anymore, but, really, you got to ask yourself, does that make sense? And what I'd like you to be thinking about, what I'd like you to focus on, and for so many people, they're not doing this. There's the steps in which you can determine whether or not a program is good and makes sense for you is very simple. The first is, who do you serve? So in my vernacular, what is your CPoP? What is your customer point of pain, or customer point of purpose, or customer point of pleasure? What is it? In 10 words or less, who is it that you serve, and what is the pain point you address? Now, when I was doing the interviews, and now it's close to 600 interviews, 98% of people need clarity of who they serve and the pain point they address. So if you don't know who you serve and the pain point you address, how can you pay somebody else to help solve a problem if you don't even know the problem you're solving? Just an interesting question, right? So the first thing you could absolutely do is learn about your CPoP. Spend time thinking about it. Talk to your customers. Talk to the people you want to be customers. Figure out what is the primary thing that they have a problem with that they would pay for it, you helping to solve. Join Credibility Nation. There is a customer point of pain, a CPoP course that is bundled in with membership. And membership is very reasonably priced. So, understand your CPoP. And through the lens of understanding who you serve and the pain point you address, now you can evaluate other programs. Now you can determine whether or not those other programs are specifically designed to address the area that you're focusing on with the techniques that you're actually comfortable delivering. Right? So if the program requires you doing something you're not comfortable with, that's not the right program to participate in. And at the end of the day, here's the really cool part. If you have existing customers and you know what your CPoP is and you're thinking about another program, well, why don't you talk to those existing customers who you're friendly with and ask them what they think about what it is you might learn and grow and then deploy into. So when somebody says to me, hey, Mitchell, is this program successful? What do I look at? I look at the person, I evaluate them. How do they look on social media? How does their website look? Do they actually have a singular focus in an area that would absolutely allow them to be the experts to be able to share that information with you? If that's all correct, then what are the customer testimonials? What are they actually showing? Who's there? Them showing pictures of themselves with celebrities, that's not a good sign. That doesn't necessarily make somebody credible at doing what they do. What you want to see is real live customers. If you know any of them, call them, see what they think. It is always okay, depending on the expenditure, to reach out to somebody, even if you don't know them, and just ask. Typically, the people they recommend are people who have a really good opinion about them, but sometimes not always. And so what I'd say is, particularly in today's world, there is no absolute easy button. The easy button is for you to determine who you serve, the pain point you address, and then put yourself in front of that crowd and be of value, be of service, deliver as much as you can, deliver more than you promise. And then your customers will talk about you to their friends and their colleagues, and you'll get more customers. And that is, you could call it the easy button. It is just you executing. And by the way, if your CPoP is your purpose and something you love, it allows you to do what you love and do it in a way that adds value to both your life and those you serve. So in this particular episode, the concept was, how do you evaluate an opportunity for learning and growth? And the most important thing is, don't think about what is the promise of all the money you're going to make at the end. Think about who it is you're going to serve, who it is that you serve today. Think about the value you deliver, and does that audience want what's being offered? And talk to them. Find out if that's what they need, that's what they want. Hey, thanks so much. Enjoy. Bye now.